The biological puppet hook. Your brain is being hijacked before you even realize it. In the next few minutes, I will show you how the superior colliculus forces an involuntary attentional shift that overrides your executive control. You aren't choosing what to look at. Your dopaminergic system is biologically hardwired to prioritize novelty over utility. Let's explore the world of impulse buying, a fascinating phenomenon that reveals how our brains can be tricked into making quick decisions we later regret. This often stems from the emotional triggers that retailers expertly exploit. Imagine walking into a store for just a loaf of bread, but then you spot a flashy display of limited-time snacks right by the checkout. You think, I deserve a treat. And suddenly, that loaf of bread is accompanied by a bag of chips and a candy bar. The retailer knows that by placing tempting items at the register, they can capitalize on your momentary desire for instant gratification. The broader implication? This creates a culture of regret, where consumers often leave with items they didn't plan to buy, leading to clutter and buyer's remorse. Next time you're in a store, take a moment to pause before grabbing those extra items. Ask yourself, do I really need this, or am I just reacting to a clever marketing tactic? Remember, true satisfaction comes from mindful choices, not impulse buys. Let's dive into the world of sale signs, a classic tactic that plays on our desire for a good deal while often leading us astray. Retailers know that a big red sale can trigger a rush of excitement, making us feel like savvy shoppers, even when we might not be. Picture this. You walk into a store and see a sign that says, "Everything 50 off." Your heart races as you think, wow, what a steal. But here's the twist. Many items are marked up beforehand, so the discount is just a clever illusion. You might end up buying something you didn't even want, simply because it felt like a bargain. The broader implication? This creates a culture of mindless spending, where consumers feel pressured to buy just because something is on sale, leading to clutter and wasted money. Next time you see a sale sign, take a moment to evaluate if it's truly a good deal. Ask yourself, would I buy this at full price? Remember, the best savings come from thoughtful purchases, not just chasing discounts. Let's take a look at the world of limited time offers, a marketing strategy that can turn even the most rational shoppers into impulsive buyers. Retailers have mastered the art of urgency, making us feel like we need to act fast or miss out. Imagine you're browsing online and see a countdown timer for a deal that ends in just a few hours. Your heart races as you think, I can't let this slip away. But here's the kicker. Many of these offers are recycled, with the same discounts popping up again under different banners. The retailer knows that by creating a sense of urgency, they can push you to buy without thinking. The broader implication? This fosters a culture of hasty decisions, where consumers prioritize immediate savings over thoughtful consideration, leading to buyer's remorse. Next time you encounter a limited time offer, take a moment to breathe. Ask yourself, is this urgency real or just a clever marketing tactic? Remember, the best decisions are made with a clear mind, not a racing heart. Let's explore the phenomenon of free gift with purchase, a clever marketing tactic that can lead us to make unnecessary purchases. Retailers know how to play on our sense of getting something for nothing, but often we end up paying for it in other ways. Imagine you're at a cosmetics store, and the salesperson says, "Buy this moisturizer, and you'll receive a free lipstick." You think, "What a great deal!" But here's the catch. You might not even need the moisturizer, and now you're stuck with a product you didn't plan on buying, all for the sake of that free gift. The broader implication? This creates a culture of unnecessary spending, where consumers feel compelled to buy items they don't need just to get that so-called freebie, leading to clutter and waste. Next time you're tempted by a free gift offer, pause and ask yourself, would I buy this without the gift? Remember, the best deals are often the ones that don't require you to spend more than you intended. Let's delve into the world of subscription services, a clever tactic that can lead us to believe we're saving money while often draining our wallets instead. Companies have perfected the art of making subscriptions seem like a no-brainer, but the reality can be quite different. Picture this. You sign up for a monthly streaming service thinking, "I'll just watch a couple of shows." But as the months roll by, life gets busy, and you forget about it. The company knows that once you re-signed up, inertia kicks in, and you keep paying even when you haven't watched anything in ages. The broader implication? This fosters a culture of passive consumption, where people feel trapped in subscriptions they don't use, all while believing they made a smart choice. Next time you consider a subscription, take a moment to evaluate its value. Ask yourself, am I truly getting my money's worth, or am I just paying for convenience? Remember, sometimes the best subscription is the one you never start. Let's shift our focus to the world of buy one, get one free promotions, a classic marketing strategy that can lead to unintended consequences. While it sounds enticing, this tactic often tricks us into buying more than we actually need. Imagine you walk into a grocery store and see a sign that says, "Buy one, get one free," on your favorite snack. You think, "What a deal!" But here's the catch. How many of those snacks will you actually consume before they go stale? The store banks on your fear of missing out on a bargain, nudging you to buy more than you intended. The broader implication? This creates a culture of overconsumption, where people feel pressured to take advantage of deals, leading to waste and clutter in their homes. Next time you see a BOGO offer, pause and ask yourself, do I really need the extra item, or am I just falling for a clever marketing trick? Remember, true savings come from mindful purchases, not just from chasing after perceived bargains. Let's dive into the world of loyalty programs, a clever marketing strategy that can often lead us to spend more than we intended. While these programs promise rewards for our loyalty, they can also create a false sense of savings. Imagine you join a coffee shop loyalty program thinking, if I buy 10 cups, I get one free. Sounds great, right? But here's the twist: you might find yourself buying coffee more frequently than you normally would, driven by the desire to reach that next reward. The coffee shop knows that once you're in, you're likely to keep coming back, even if it means spending more than you intended. The broader implication? This fosters a culture of compulsive consumption, where customers feel loyal to brands that may not actually serve their best interests. Next time you're tempted to join a loyalty program, take a moment to evaluate whether it's genuinely beneficial. Ask yourself, am I really saving money, or just being lured into a cycle of spending? Remember, true loyalty shouldn't cost you your wallet. Let's explore the world of limited edition products, a marketing ploy that can lead us to make impulsive purchases based on the allure of exclusivity. Retailers know that labeling an item as limited edition can trigger our fear of missing out, making us feel like we need to act fast. Imagine you see a pair of sneakers labeled as only 100 available. Your heart races and you think, I have to get these before they're gone. But here's the twist. Many of these so-called limited editions are produced in bulk, designed to create a false sense of scarcity. The company knows that by labeling something as exclusive, they can drive up demand and make you feel part of an elite group. The broader implication? This encourages impulsive buying, leading us to prioritize owning something rare over its actual value or usefulness. Next time you encounter a limited edition item, pause and consider its true worth. Ask yourself, am I buying this because I genuinely want it, or just because it's marketed as special? Remember, true value comes from how well an item fits into your life, not just its label. Let's take a closer look at the phenomenon of health halo products, a clever marketing strategy that can lead us to believe we're making healthier choices when we might not be. This tactic plays on our desire to be health conscious, while often masking the reality of what we're consuming. Imagine you're in the snack aisle and spot a box of organic cookies. You think, these must be a guilt-free treat. But here's the catch. Just because they labeled organic doesn't mean they're low in sugar or calories. The marketing plays on your assumption that organic equals healthy, even when it's just a clever label to boost sales. The broader implication? This creates a culture of misguided eating habits, where consumers feel virtuous about their choices, often leading to overindulgence in products that aren't as healthy as they seem. Next time you reach for that healthier option, take a moment to read the label. Ask yourself, is this really a better choice, or am I just falling for a marketing trick? Remember, true health isn't just about labels, it's about making informed decisions. Let's dive into the world of trendy diets, a fascinating case of how our desire for quick fixes can lead us down a confusing path. The diet industry thrives on the promise of rapid results, often exploiting our cognitive biases and societal pressures. Picture this. A new diet fad takes social media by storm, promising miraculous weight loss in just weeks. You think, everyone is doing it, so it must work. But here's the twist. Many of these diets lack scientific backing and often lead to yo-yo dieting, where people cycle between losing and gaining weight. The industry knows that as long as they keep promoting the next big thing, consumers will keep jumping from one diet to another. The broader implication? This creates a culture of frustration and confusion around healthy eating, where individuals feel pressured to conform to trends rather than listen to their bodies. Next time you hear about a trendy diet, take a moment to step back. Ask yourself, is this really a sustainable choice for me, or just another fleeting fad? Remember, true health isn't about chasing trends, it's about finding what works for you and embracing a balanced lifestyle. Let's shift gears to the world of New Year's resolutions, a classic example of how our ambitious intentions can often lead to disappointment. Every January, people flood the gym with hopes of transformation, but how many actually stick with it? Imagine you set a resolution to work out 5 times a week. At first, you're pumped, but as the weeks go by, life gets busy and motivation wanes. The gym knows that many will sign up with good intentions, but won't follow through, banking on the fact that most will forget about their commitment. The broader implication? This creates a culture of guilt and frustration, where individuals feel pressured to conform to societal expectations of fitness, often leading to a cycle of failure. Next time January rolls around, consider setting smaller, achievable goals throughout the year instead of one grand resolution. Ask yourself, am I ready for this change, or just caught up in the New Year hype? Remember, real transformation takes time and consistency, not just a burst of enthusiasm. Let's take a look at the concept of social media validation, a phenomenon that highlights our need for approval in the digital age. Many people find themselves chasing likes and comments, believing that their worth is tied to online engagement. Imagine posting a photo and eagerly checking back for likes. You think, if this gets enough likes, it must mean I'm doing something right. But here's the twist. Many of those likes are driven by algorithms that prioritize engagement over authenticity. You might be measuring your self-worth based on a number that doesn't reflect reality. The broader implication? This creates a culture where individuals feel pressured to curate their lives for social media, often leading to anxiety and a distorted sense of self. Next time you find yourself seeking validation online, pause and ask yourself, am I sharing for genuine connection or just for likes? Remember, true value lies in authentic interactions, not in the number of thumbs up. Let's explore the world of influencer marketing, a phenomenon that reveals how our trust in social media personalities can lead us astray. Many of us look to influencers for recommendations, believing they have our best interests at heart. Imagine scrolling through your feed and seeing an influencer raving about a miracle skincare product. You think, if they're using it, it must work. But here's the catch. Many influencers are paid to promote products they may not even use themselves. This creates a false sense of credibility, leading consumers to trust endorsements over empirical evidence. The broader implication? This can foster a culture where trends overshadow truth, resulting in disappointment when products fail to deliver. Next time you see an influencer promoting something, take a moment to question their motivation. Ask yourself, is this recommendation based on genuine experience or just a paycheck? Remember, not every popular choice is the right choice. Do your own research before diving in. Let's delve into the world of greenwashing, a tactic that exploits our desire to make environmentally friendly choices while often masking the truth behind corporate practices. Companies know how to leverage buzzwords like eco-friendly and sustainable to appeal to our values. But how often do we check the facts? Imagine you see a product proudly labeled as 100 biodegradable. You think, great, I'm helping the planet! But here's the twist. Many of these claims are exaggerated or misleading. The company might be using biodegradable materials, but what about the production process? Are they still contributing to pollution? The broader implication? This creates a culture of complacency, where consumers feel virtuous about their purchases without realizing they might be supporting harmful practices under the guise of sustainability. Next time you encounter a product marketed as green, take a moment to investigate its true impact. Ask yourself, is this a genuine effort to be sustainable, or just a clever marketing ploy? Remember, true environmental responsibility goes beyond a catchy label. Look for transparency and accountability. Let's talk about the phenomenon of FOMO, or the fear of missing out, particularly as it relates to events and experiences. This psychological trigger can lead us to make hasty decisions, often prioritizing social validation over personal enjoyment. Imagine you're invited to a party and see that all your friends are going. You think, I can't miss this. But what if you're actually exhausted and would rather stay in? The pressure to join in can overshadow your genuine feelings, leading to regret later. The broader implication? This creates a culture where people feel obligated to participate in every event, often at the expense of their own well-being. Next time you feel the pull of FOMO, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, am I going because I truly want to, or just because everyone else is? Remember, sometimes the best choice is to prioritize your own needs over the fear of missing out. Let's dive into the world of event ticketing, where the pressure of FOMO can lead us to make impulsive purchases. The allure of a concert or festival can be intoxicating, especially when tickets are marketed as selling out fast. Picture this. You see a countdown clock on a ticket site, and it says, only 10 tickets left. Your heart races, and you think, I can't let this opportunity slip away. But here's the catch. Many events have a way of releasing more tickets later, or may not sell out as quickly as they claim. The broader implication? This creates a culture of hasty decisions, where people buy tickets without fully considering if they can attend or if they truly want to. Next time you're faced with a limited availability ticket offer, take a breath. Ask yourself, am I buying this out of genuine interest or just because I feel rushed? Remember, the best experiences are the ones you truly want to be part of, not just the ones you feel pressured to attend. Let's explore the world of online shopping cart abandonment, a fascinating phenomenon that highlights how our decision-making can be influenced by digital marketing tactics. Retailers are well aware that many shoppers will fill their carts but leave without completing the purchase. Imagine you're browsing an online store, adding items to your cart and feeling pretty good about your selections. But just as you're about to check out, a pop-up appears offering an additional discount if you complete your purchase right now. You think, wow, that's tempting. But what if you were already on the fence about buying those items? The broader implication? This creates a culture of impulse buying, where consumers may feel pressured to finalize a purchase they weren't entirely sure about in the first place, leading to buyer's remorse. Next time you find yourself in the midst of an online shopping spree, take a moment to evaluate your cart. Ask yourself, am I buying this because I truly want it or just because of a last-minute discount? Remember, the best purchases are made with intention, not urgency. Let's dive into the world of subscription creep, a sneaky phenomenon that can quietly drain your wallet over time. Many of us sign up for services with the best intentions, but before we know it, we're juggling multiple subscriptions we barely use. Imagine you start with a music streaming service thinking, I'll just use this for a few playlists. But then you add a video streaming service, a meal kit subscription, and a fitness app. Suddenly, you're paying for 5 services, and you realize you're only using one regularly. The companies bank on your initial excitement, knowing that many people forget about their subscriptions once they're set up. The broader implication? This creates a culture of passive consumption, where consumers feel overwhelmed and financially strapped, often without even realizing how much they're spending. Next time you consider signing up for a subscription, take a moment to assess your current commitments. Ask yourself, will this truly add value to my life, or am I just adding to the clutter? Remember, sometimes less is more, and the best subscription is the one that genuinely enhances your experience. Let's shift our focus to the phenomenon of free trials, a marketing strategy that can lead to unexpected financial commitments. While they seem like a great way to test a service, many people overlook the fine print. Imagine you sign up for a free trial of a fitness app, thinking, I'll just cancel if I don't like it. But as the trial progresses, you get sucked into using it, and when the trial ends, you're hit with a subscription fee. The company banks on your initial engagement, knowing that many users forget to cancel. The broader implication? This creates a culture of passive consumption, where people feel trapped in subscriptions they didn't intend to keep, all while believing they made a savvy choice. Next time you're tempted by a free trial, set a reminder to evaluate whether you'll actually use it after the trial ends. Ask yourself, am I genuinely interested in this or just caught up in the excitement? Remember, the best deals often come without strings attached. Let's take a look at the world of flash sales, a marketing tactic that can create a whirlwind of excitement and urgency, often leading to impulsive buying decisions. Retailers know how to play on our emotions with phrases like limited time only or flash sale ends in 1 hour. Imagine you receive a notification about a massive discount on a product you've been eyeing. You think, I can't miss this. But here's the catch. Many of these flash sales are strategically timed to create a false sense of scarcity. The retailer may plan to have another sale soon after, or they might just be trying to clear out inventory. The broader implication? This fosters a culture of hasty decisions, where consumers buy items they don't need simply because they feel pressured by the ticking clock. Next time you encounter a flash sale, take a moment to assess your true desire for the item. Ask yourself, would I buy this at full price? Remember, the best purchases are made with thought, not just a sense of urgency. Let's explore the world of impulse purchases at checkout, a common trap that retailers have mastered to maximize sales. Often, we find ourselves adding items to our carts that we never intended to buy, all because they're conveniently placed right before we pay. Imagine standing in line at a grocery store, and you see a display of candy bars and magazines. You think, just a little treat won't hurt, but here's the twist. Those items are strategically placed to catch your eye and trigger a last-minute buy. Retailers know that when you're already committed to spending, it's easier to nudge you into grabbing something extra. The broader implication? This creates a culture of mindless spending, where consumers leave with items they didn't plan for, leading to clutter and regret. Next time you're at checkout, take a moment to pause. Ask yourself, do I really need this? Or am I just succumbing to clever placement? Remember, the best shopping decisions are made with intention, not impulse. Let's dive into the world of buy now, pay later schemes, a growing trend that can lead consumers into a financial maze. While these plans promise immediate gratification, they often trick us into thinking we can afford more than we actually can. Imagine you see a shiny new gadget online, and the site offers an enticing payment plan that breaks the cost into bite-sized installments. You think, this is perfect. But here's the catch. Those small payments can add up quickly, often with hidden fees or interest if you miss a payment. Before you know it, that affordable gadget turns into a financial burden. The broader implication? This creates a culture of debt, where consumers feel empowered to make purchases they can't truly afford, leading to stress and regret down the road. Next time you're tempted by a buy now, pay later offer, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, is this instant gratification worth the potential financial hangover? Remember, true financial freedom comes from making informed choices, not impulsive ones. Let's shift our focus to the concept of emotional spending, a phenomenon that often leads us to make purchases based on our feelings rather than our needs. Retailers are well aware of this tendency and often create environments that trigger our emotions. Imagine you've had a tough day and you walk into a store. You see a cozy blanket and think, "This will make me feel better."
But here's the twist.
That blanket might not solve your underlying stress. It's just a temporary fix. Retailers capitalize on this by creating inviting atmospheres that encourage you to associate shopping with comfort and relief. The broader implication? This can lead to a cycle of emotional spending, where we buy items to cope with feelings, only to feel regret later when the high fades. Next time you find yourself reaching for that comfort purchase, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, am I buying this to feel better, or do I genuinely need it? Remember, true fulfillment comes from addressing the root of your emotions, not just covering them up with purchases. Let's delve into the world of subscription fatigue, a modern dilemma many face in our fast-paced digital age. As more services pop up, it's easy to get overwhelmed by the sheer number of subscriptions we accumulate, often without realizing it. Picture this. You sign up for a streaming service, a meal kit, and a fitness app, thinking each will enhance your life. But soon, you find yourself juggling multiple subscriptions, many of which you hardly use. You might even forget about some entirely. Retailers know this and bank on your inertia, hoping you'll keep paying for services that no longer serve you. The broader implication? This creates a culture of financial drain and clutter, where consumers feel trapped by their own choices, often leading to anxiety about their spending habits. Next time you consider a new subscription, pause and evaluate your current commitments. Ask yourself, will this truly add value to my life, or am I just adding to the noise? Remember, quality over quantity is key sometimes. Less truly is more. Let's explore the phenomenon of fear of missing out, FOMO, in the context of social events, which can lead us to overcommit and stretch ourselves too thin. Many of us feel compelled to attend every gathering, believing that missing one might mean missing out on something extraordinary. Imagine you get invited to 3 parties on the same night. You think, I can't let my friends down. So you rush from one to another, feeling exhausted and not fully present at any of them. The irony? In trying to be everywhere, you end up enjoying nothing. The broader implication? This creates a culture of superficial connections, where people prioritize quantity over quality in their social lives, leading to burnout and dissatisfaction. Next time you're faced with multiple invitations, take a moment to consider what truly matters. Ask yourself, will attending this event enrich my life, or am I just trying to keep up? Remember, sometimes saying no is the best way to say yes to what really counts. Let's shift gears and examine the role of social proof in our decision-making, particularly when it comes to dining out. We often look to others to gauge what's worth our time and money, but this can lead to some amusing contradictions. Imagine you're at a restaurant and you see a long line outside. You think, this place must be amazing. But here's the twist. That line could just be a marketing tactic to create buzz. The restaurant might be serving mediocre food, yet the crowd convinces you it's a must-try. The broader implication? This creates a culture where popularity overshadows quality, leading us to make dining choices based on what's trendy rather than what's genuinely good. Next time you're tempted to follow the crowd into a packed restaurant, take a moment to consider. Ask yourself, am I choosing this place because it's truly appealing, or just because everyone else is? Remember, sometimes the best meals are found off the beaten path, away from the hype. Let's dive into the world of restaurant reviews, a fascinating aspect of social proof that can heavily influence our dining choices. Many of us turn to online reviews to decide where to eat, but this can lead to some surprising outcomes. Imagine you're scrolling through a popular review site and see a restaurant with a mix of glowing and scathing reviews. You think, I'll trust the majority. But here's the catch. Sometimes the loudest voices are the most extreme. A few bad experiences can overshadow the many satisfied customers, skewing your perception of the restaurant. The broader implication? This creates a culture where we might miss out on hidden gems simply because we were swayed by a handful of negative reviews, often ignoring the context behind them. Next time you're considering a restaurant based on reviews, take a moment to read between the lines. Ask yourself, are the criticisms valid or just personal preferences? Remember, the best dining experiences often come from exploring beyond the ratings and trusting your own taste. Let's examine the phenomenon of the Instagrammable meal, a trend that highlights how our desire for social media validation can influence our dining choices. Many restaurants now focus on creating visually stunning dishes that are designed to be shared online, often prioritizing aesthetics over taste. Imagine you order a vibrant, rainbow-colored smoothie bowl because it looks amazing on your feed. You snap a picture, but when you take a bite, you realize it's more about the presentation than the flavor. The restaurant knows that if they can create something eye-catching, it'll draw in customers eager to share their experience, regardless of the actual quality. The broader implication? This creates a culture where food is often judged by its Instagram potential rather than its culinary merit, leading to disappointment when the taste doesn't match the hype. Next time you're tempted to order something just because it looks good online, pause and think. Ask yourself, am I choosing this for the experience or just for the photo? Remember, true satisfaction comes from enjoying a meal that delights your taste buds, not just your followers. Let's delve into the concept of meal kits, a trendy solution that promises convenience and culinary adventure, but can sometimes lead to unexpected pitfalls. Many people are drawn in by the idea of gourmet meals delivered to their doorstep, but the reality can be quite different. Picture this. You sign up for a meal kit service, excited to try new recipes. The first box arrives and you are thrilled. But then you realize that the portion sizes are smaller than expected, or the ingredients require a level of cooking skill you didn't anticipate. Suddenly, you find yourself frustrated, and those gourmet meals turn into a chore rather than a delight. The broader implication? This creates a culture where people feel pressured to keep up with the latest food trends, often leading to wasted ingredients and a sense of guilt if they don't use everything. Next time you consider a meal kit service, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, am I genuinely excited about cooking these meals, or am I just trying to keep up with the latest trend? Remember, the best meals are the ones that bring joy and satisfaction, not just convenience. Let's explore the world of food delivery apps, a modern convenience that can lead to unexpected consequences. While they offer the allure of having your favorite meals at your fingertips, they can also encourage unhealthy eating habits. Imagine it's a long day, and you're tempted to order takeout through an app. You scroll through endless options, and before you know it, you've ordered multiple dishes, thinking, I deserve a treat. But here's the catch. Those small delivery fees and service charges add up quickly, often making that seemingly cheap meal much more expensive. The broader implication? This creates a culture of mindless spending, where convenience overshadows mindful eating and budgeting. Next time you were considering a food delivery, pause and evaluate your choices. Ask yourself, am I ordering out of convenience or genuine craving? Remember, sometimes cooking at home can be just as convenient and far more satisfying for both your wallet and your health. Let's take a look at the phenomenon of food trends, which can lead us to adopt dietary habits that may not be sustainable or beneficial in the long run. Many people jump on the latest food bandwagon, believing that if it's trending, it must be good for them. Imagine you hear about a new superfood that everyone is raving about, like kale or quinoa. You think, I need to incorporate this into my diet. But here's the twist. While these foods can be nutritious, overemphasizing one ingredient can lead to a lack of variety in your meals. You might end up missing out on other essential nutrients that come from a balanced diet. The broader implication? This creates a culture of dietary extremes, where people feel pressured to conform to trends, often at the expense of their overall health. Next time you consider jumping on a food trend, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, am I choosing this for its nutritional value, or just because it's popular? Remember, true health comes from a diverse and balanced diet, not just following the latest craze. Let's pivot to the world of meal prep, a popular trend that promises to save time and promote healthier eating. While it seems like a great way to stay organized, it can sometimes lead to unexpected challenges. Imagine you spend your Sunday prepping meals for the week, meticulously portioning everything into containers. You feel accomplished. But by Wednesday, you might find yourself staring at a fridge full of meals that no longer excite you. The initial enthusiasm can quickly turn into monotony, leading to food waste or the temptation to order takeout instead. The broader implication? This creates a culture where people feel pressured to stick to their meal plans, often sacrificing enjoyment for the sake of discipline. Next time you embark on meal prepping, consider incorporating variety into your plan. Ask yourself, how can I make these meals more exciting throughout the week? Remember, enjoying what you eat is just as important as sticking to a plan. Let's explore the world of food influencers who can significantly shape our eating habits and preferences. While they often promote healthy eating and creative recipes, their influence can sometimes lead us down a rabbit hole of unrealistic expectations. Imagine you follow a food influencer who posts beautifully styled dishes every day. You think, if I just follow their recipes, I'll eat like that too. But here's the catch. Those meals often take hours to prepare and require hard-to-find ingredients. The pressure to replicate their perfection can lead to frustration and a sense of inadequacy when your own meals don't measure up. The broader implication? This creates a culture where cooking becomes a chore rather than a joy, leading many to abandon home cooking altogether in favor of takeout. Next time you find yourself inspired by a food influencer, remember to keep it real. Ask yourself, can I adapt this recipe to fit my lifestyle and skills? Remember, Cooking should be about enjoyment and nourishment, not just aesthetics. Let's dive into the concept of food challenges, which have become a popular trend on social media. These challenges often encourage participants to consume large quantities of food or try unusual combinations, all for the sake of entertainment and bragging rights. Imagine you see a viral video of someone attempting a massive burger challenge. You think, that looks fun! But here's the catch. These challenges can promote unhealthy eating habits and unrealistic expectations about food consumption. While they may seem harmless, they can encourage binge eating or create a distorted view of portion sizes. The broader implication? This fosters a culture where food is viewed as a spectacle rather than nourishment, leading to potential health issues and a disconnect from mindful eating practices. Next time you come across a food challenge, consider the impact it might have on your relationship with food. Ask yourself, am I participating for fun, or am I risking my health for likes? Remember, enjoying food is about balance and moderation, not just extremes. Let's explore the trend of DIY food kits, which have surged in popularity as people seek to recreate restaurant experiences at home. While they promise culinary adventure, they can sometimes lead to unexpected challenges. Imagine you purchase a DIY sushi kit, excited to impress your friends. You lay out all the ingredients, but when it's time to roll, you realize you have no idea what you're doing. The rice is sticky, the nori tears, and suddenly your sushi looks more like a sad pile than a gourmet dish. The broader implication? This creates a culture where cooking is seen as a daunting task rather than an enjoyable experience. The pressure to achieve perfection can lead to frustration, making people shy away from cooking altogether. Next time you try a DIY food kit, remember that it's about the journey, not just the destination. Ask yourself, how can I make this fun and less stressful? Embrace the mess, and remember that culinary creativity often comes from experimentation, not perfection. Let's take a look at the phenomenon of food subscription boxes, which promise to deliver culinary delights right to your doorstep. While the convenience is appealing, many people find themselves caught in a cycle of excitement that can quickly turn sour. Imagine you sign up for a gourmet snack box, thrilled to discover new treats each month. The first box arrives, and it's filled with unique goodies. But by the third month, you realize you're receiving items you don't even like, and now you have a pantry full of snacks you'll never eat. The initial thrill can quickly turn into clutter and waste. The broader implication? This creates a culture of passive consumption, where the novelty wears off and you're left with a subscription that no longer excites you. Next time you consider a food subscription box, think about your preferences and how often you'll truly enjoy the offerings. Ask yourself, is this a treat or just another obligation? Remember, sometimes the best surprises come from exploring local markets or trying new recipes on your own. Let's shift our focus to the world of plant-based diets, a trend that has gained immense popularity as people seek healthier lifestyles and eco-friendly choices. While the benefits are often highlighted, many people overlook the challenges that can arise when making this transition. Consider this. You decide to go plant-based and stock up on all the latest meat alternatives, thinking you're making a healthy choice. However, you might find that many of these products are heavily processed and packed with sodium and additives. You think you're eating healthier, but those substitutes can sometimes be just as unhealthy as the items they replace. The broader implication? This creates a culture where people might equate plant-based with healthy without fully understanding the nutritional content of their choices. Next time you explore plant-based options, take a moment to read the labels and consider whole foods like fruits, vegetables, grains, and legumes. Ask yourself, am I choosing these for their health benefits or just because they're trendy? Remember, true wellness comes from understanding what you eat, not just following the latest fad. Let's dive into the world of food labels, a fascinating area where marketing meets consumer confusion. Many people rely on labels to make healthier choices, but these labels can be misleading. Imagine you pick up a snack labeled all natural. You think, this must be good for me. But here's the catch. Natural isn't a regulated term, so it could still be loaded with sugar and preservatives. Companies know how to play with language to make their products sound appealing without providing real nutritional value. The broader implication? This creates a culture where consumers are misled by buzzwords, often leading to poor dietary choices. Next time you're shopping, take a closer look at the ingredients rather than just the front label. Ask yourself, what do the ingredients actually say about this product? Remember, true health comes from understanding what you're putting into your body, not just trusting catchy phrases. Let's explore the concept of food marketing, particularly how it plays on our emotions and perceptions. Companies often craft their messaging to evoke feelings of nostalgia or health, which can lead us to make choices that aren't necessarily in our best interest. Imagine a cereal brand that markets itself as a wholesome breakfast option, using images of happy families and vibrant fruits. You think, this is a healthy choice for my kids. But when you check the sugar content, you find it's nearly as high as dessert. The marketing creates an illusion of health, while the reality is quite different. The broader implication? This fosters a culture where consumers are swayed by emotional appeals rather than factual information, leading to choices that may not align with their health goals. Next time you're drawn to a product because of its marketing, take a moment to dig deeper. Ask yourself, what's really in this product, and how does it align with my health objectives? Remember, being an informed consumer means looking beyond the surface. Let's dive into the world of food trends, particularly how quickly they can shift and leave consumers feeling lost. One day, everyone is raving about a superfood, and the next, it's deemed overrated. Imagine you invest in a pantry full of activated charcoal products because it's the latest health craze. You think, this will detox my system. But soon after, you learn that it can interfere with nutrient absorption and isn't as beneficial as once claimed. The rapid-fire nature of trends can lead to confusion and wasted money. The broader implication? This creates a culture of dietary whiplash, where people feel pressured to constantly adapt their eating habits to stay in the know, often sacrificing balance and sustainability. Next time you hear about a new food trend, take a breath. Ask yourself, is this truly beneficial or just the latest fad? Remember, lasting health comes from consistent, balanced choices rather than hopping from one trend to another. Let's take a look at the phenomenon of food gimmicks, which often promise miraculous benefits but can lead to disappointment. Many products are marketed as the next big thing in health, but their actual effectiveness can be questionable. Imagine you come across a trendy drink that claims to boost metabolism and burn fat. You think, this will help me reach my goals. But after a few weeks of consuming it, you realize it hasn't made any noticeable difference. The marketing hype can overshadow the reality, leaving you feeling let down. The broader implication? This creates a culture of reliance on quick fixes rather than fostering sustainable habits, leading to frustration and confusion about what truly works. Next time you encounter a food gimmick, take a moment to consider its claims critically. Ask yourself, is this backed by science or just clever marketing? Remember, true progress comes from consistent, healthy habits rather than chasing the latest fad. Let's explore the world of food myths, which can lead us to make choices based on misconceptions rather than facts. Many popular beliefs about food are perpetuated by anecdotal evidence or outdated information. Consider the myth that eating late at night causes weight gain. You might think, I can't snack after 8 p.m. But the truth is, weight gain is more about total calorie intake and activity level rather than the timing of your meals. This misconception can lead to unnecessary restriction and anxiety around food. The broader implication? This creates a culture of fear around eating, where people feel guilty for enjoying food at certain times, potentially leading to unhealthy relationships with food. Next time you hear a food myth, take a moment to research its validity. Ask yourself, is this belief based on science or just a common saying? Remember, informed choices come from understanding the facts, not just following popular beliefs. Let's dive into the concept of food labels again, specifically the confusion surrounding terms like gluten-free or organic. Many consumers believe that these labels automatically mean healthier options, but that's not always the case. Imagine you see a snack labeled gluten-free and think, this must be a healthy choice. But here's the twist. Many gluten-free products can be just as high in sugar and fat as their gluten-containing counterparts. The marketing plays on your assumptions, leading you to believe you're making a healthier choice when you might not be. The broader implication? This creates a culture where consumers equate certain labels with health benefits, often overlooking the actual ingredients and nutritional content. Next time you are shopping, take a moment to scrutinize the ingredient list rather than just relying on the label. Ask yourself, what's really in this product and how does it fit into my overall diet? Remember, just because something is labeled healthy doesn't mean it's the best choice for you. Let's take a look at the rise of meal replacement products, which promise convenience and nutrition in a bottle or bar. While they can be appealing for busy lifestyles, they often come with hidden downsides. Imagine you're rushing out the door and grab a meal replacement shake, thinking, this will keep me fueled. However, you might find that these products often lack the variety of nutrients found in whole foods. They can also be loaded with sugars and artificial ingredients to enhance flavor, leaving you feeling unsatisfied. The broader implication? This creates a culture where people rely on quick fixes instead of embracing the benefits of whole, nutrient-dense foods that provide lasting energy and satisfaction. Next time you consider a meal replacement, think about how it fits into your overall diet. Ask yourself, am I using this as a supplement or a substitute? Remember, nothing beats the nourishment and satisfaction of a well-rounded meal made from whole ingredients. Let's delve into the world of food trends again, specifically the rise of superfoods. While many people are eager to incorporate these nutrient-packed ingredients into their diets, it's important to recognize that they don't hold all the answers to health. Imagine you hear about a new superfood, like spirulina, and you think, if I just add this to my smoothies, I'll be healthy.
But here's the twist.
Focusing solely on one ingredient can lead you to neglect the importance of a balanced diet. Relying too heavily on superfoods can create an illusion of health while ignoring the benefits of variety. The broader implication? This fosters a culture where people chase the latest superfood while overlooking the foundational aspects of nutrition, like whole grains, fruits, and vegetables. Next time you're tempted to jump on the superfood bandwagon, remember that health is about balance. Ask yourself, how can I incorporate a variety of foods into my diet instead of relying on just one? True wellness comes from a diverse plate, not just a trendy ingredient. In the complex landscape of food choices and marketing, consumers often find themselves navigating a maze of trends, labels, and myths that can lead to confusion and poor decision-making. Key themes include 1. Misleading marketing terms like natural, gluten-free, and superfood can create false perceptions of health, leading consumers to overlook nutritional content. 2. Impulse and emotional eating tactics like limited time offers and strategic product placements encourage impulsive purchases, often resulting in buyer's remorse and clutter. 3. Trendy diets and quick fixes. The allure of trendy diets and meal replacements can overshadow the importance of balanced nutrition, promoting unsustainable habits. 4. Social proof and influencer culture. The influence of social media and peer pressure can lead to choices based on popularity rather than personal health needs. 5. Food myths and misconceptions. Common myths about timing and food combinations can create unnecessary restrictions, impacting our relationship with food. The takeaway? Mindful eating and informed choices are essential. Always question marketing claims, prioritize whole foods, and embrace a balanced diet over fleeting trends. True health comes from understanding and variety, not just following the latest fads.